Hi, it's good to be with you. Thanks for watching my views and news. Two news stories. First one is from the Amhara region of Ethiopia. It seems that external players want to be involved in the Amhara region to resolve the conflict or to be part of solution finding. Which external players want to be involved? Does US want to be involved? What about EU? Because the two remained engaged with Ethiopian government throughout the 2 year long war in Tigray. Ultimately, talks were held and peace deal was signed. Secondly, a town mayor has been arrested by Ethiopian military. The mayor fled the town a few weeks ago when Fano fighters entered the town and when a peace and security city in charge was assassinated by Fano fighters. Firstly, viewers, first news story is about the involvement of external players to resolve the conflict in the Amhara region. We know that in Tigray, during Tigray war, external players played a key role in bringing the parties to the table for talks. It was mainly US and EU too. US and EU were two important players. African Union and IGAD did not have any leverage, but they were projected as main mediators. Basic role was played by US and EU. And we saw that when third round of fighting broke out between Tigray forces and Ethiopian military, first round of talks was held in Djibouti. It failed. Talks failed. Then second round of talks was held in South Africa, Pretoria, and Tigray forces were suffering losses in the battlefield. And Tigray was under a crippling siege. Ultimately, we saw signing a Pretoria deal. Guns were silenced. Though deal is being implemented, implementation is very slow. Still, there are unresolved issues. And maybe one of the reasons behind the conflict in Amhara is because Pretoria deal was not implemented. Amhara region-based groups were hoping that they would remain in control of Raya Koram Volkayt, that Raya Koram Volkayt would become permanent part of Amhara. It did not happen. So now it seems that now external players are becoming involved in the Amhara region. It's a good news. But which external players are becoming involved? Can they play any role? Is Ethiopian government flexible to foreign intervention, diplomatic intervention to resolve the conflict in the Amhara region? By the way, again, African Union's role is disappointing. IGAD's role is disappointing. That is what they did during Tigray war too. When Tigray war broke out, African Union supported the war, calling it law enforcement operation. IGAD was nowhere to be seen. Later we saw that Western players were involved, and then African Union and IGAD also were made part of mediation. Same is happening here in the Amhara region too. So far, no signs of any proactive engagement between IGAD, African Union and Ethiopian government. They just issued statement, African Union especially, calling for cessation of hostilities, start of dialogue. But no concrete steps taken by African Union to put an end to the conflict in Amhara. US seems to be taking the first step. US wants to involve EU so that the two can agree on some common points about how to resolve the conflict in Amhara and Oromia. Mainly in Amhara, Oromia too. That talks were held about conflict in Oromia between Ola and government in Zanzibar, Tanzania a few weeks ago. Talks did not succeed, but an organization based in Europe played a key role to facilitate talks between Ola and Ethiopian government in Zanzibar. There's some video I remember. Here, US and EU are now starting discussions. Mike Hammer is US Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa. He is the one who facilitated the Pretoria deal on behalf of US government. Mike Hammer is in Europe on a week-long visit. He is in Stockholm, and from Stockholm he's going to visit Brussels, Belgium. In Belgium, he'll meet with EU diplomats, representatives, and there discussions will be held how to take a common position, how to engage the parties in Amhara and Oromia regions to find a solution to the conflict in the two regions. Implementation of the Pretoria deal will also come under discussions. But main agenda point of Mike Hammer's visit to Europe is about the conflict in Amhara and then in Oromia. In Oromia, intensity of fighting has decreased considerably. In Amhara, we are seeing almost entire region is destabilized, ungovernable. Amhara regional government nowhere to be seen. It means that after a few days, we might see maybe arrival of EU, US special envoy, other diplomats in Ethiopia, or they will try to engage the parties to the conflict in Amhara. In Oromia, already dialogue ongoing, one session held, second could not start. Question is Ethiopian government flexible? Will it agree to foreign support for dialogue in Amhara? Because government has not made any sincere and meaningful effort to talk to Fano fighters. Only Amhara regional president made an announcement that regional council was going to appoint 5 members of regional council from each zones to talk to Fano fighters after involvement of religious leaders and other notables. But that was too late, I think. Back then, when regional president made this offer a few days ago, Fano fighters were already in control of main town cities. Federal government has been offering talks to the extent of statements. No practical steps taken by federal government to talk to Fano fighters. Now, when US and EU are going to be involved, we'll see a change. Either federal government will reject this foreign intervention and continue the military operation, or federal government will agree to EU-US intervention, diplomatic intervention. So we'll see in coming days what happens. Overall, a very positive development that international community has realized that it should step in. PM Abiy has proven, I would say, that his government could not resolve internal conflicts on its own. He had to seek the support of foreign players. He sought the support of foreign players for military offensives, but then other foreign players were involved, and they managed to take the parties to the table, and deals were signed. Let's see what happens in the case of the Amhara region. I think Fano will have to create a central body. Maybe in coming weeks we could see some offer of talks from the government. And secondly, if US and EU want to intervene in the Amhara region to find a solution, who will they talk to in the Amhara region? Who is representing Fano fighters in the Amhara region? Will they talk to David Wolle Georges? Will they talk to Masafint, Zubinakasi, Masrisha, Skandar Naga, Mere Vodajo, Bratish Shigao? So I think, or Colonel Mogazigai and Colonel Fantan Mobao, I think Fano will have to form a central body, to, at least to the extent of negotiations. If negotiations happen, Fano will have to make a central body. Let's see. So far, it's a positive development that US, EU want to jointly intervene to resolve the conflict in Amhara and Oromia. Nowhere to be seen is Russia and China, just watching like spectators. I have not seen statement from Russia or China about the conflict in Oromia and Amhara too especially. But US, EU want to step in. Secondly, viewers, a town mayor has been arrested by security forces. It happened in North Shewa zone of the Amhara region. North Shewa is the zone where Fano fighters captured two big cities, Shorobit, North Shorobit and Debre Birhan. Later, they retreated from these two towns. In Debre Birhan, police chief was assassinated. In Shorobit, head of peace and security, Abdo Hussain, was assassinated, allegedly by Fano fighters. And almost a month ago, around a month ago, when Fano fighters entered Shorobit city, Shorobit mayor fled towards Debre Birhan. Shorobit city administration fled towards Debre Birhan. Command post was established before the imposition of state of emergency, but command post could not bring peace to Shorobit. Fano fighters kept on penetrating Shorobit from the outskirts and ENDF convoys were ambushed by Fano fighters. Then Fano took control of Shorobit. Later they retreated. Now military is trying to restore local government, city government in Shorobit. Shorobit mayor is not being trusted by Ethiopian military. That is why reportedly yesterday Ethiopian military arrested Shorobit mayor. It's very difficult for these mayors to work in the Amhara region. I've been saying that. They're in a difficult position. If they support military operation, they're in danger. Their lives in danger. Their families in danger. If they go against military, if they try to stay neutral, they're arrested. They're imprisoned. That is what happened. I think it's difficult for these government officials, and if ENDF keeps on arresting these mayors and administrators, it means that no one is going to support Ethiopian military. Such moves by military are going to backfire, like the move made by military to disband Amhara Special Force. We saw that that bad decision led to start of a major uprising in the Amhara region. Let's see how other Prosperity Party officials react to this decision made by the Ethiopian military that the Shorobit mayor has been arrested. Who will be the new mayor? Will he actively work with Ethiopian National Defense Force? Will someone agree to be appointed as mayor? That we'll see in coming hours. Thank you for watching.